Welcome to the Spiritually Conscious Soul 101 channel. We're going to continue along the lines of the previous video. You'll remember that I alluded to the urgency of the need to start in the now for the co-creation process of addressing the fifth density reality of the new earth. I want to emphasize that urgency once again. I trust that all who watched the previous session will have purchased the books Help for Ascension to the Fifth Dimension by Paulette Marie Raymond, plus Dr. Michael Seller's Galactic Federations, Councils and Secret Space Programs. You will have most of the vital material that you will require to see the bigger picture of humanity's future. My book, The Extraterrestrial Phenomenon, a Post-Disclosure Blueprint, was also suggested as a means of gathering more information about the disclosure movement. It is also of note that Elena Denan's two books, A Gift from the Stars and We Will Never Let You Down, are also excellent inclusions to your personal library. You'll remember Elena, the qualified French field archaeologist, Galactic of Worlds contactee and member of Dr. Seller's exopolitics team, all mentioned in previous video presentation. I personally had an experience with Elena's material when I was writing my most recent book, The Golden Age, Awaken, O My Soul. This book approaches the New Earth concept from a different direction. Over the winter of 2021-22, I had spent 3 months gathering information for the book through research of the ancient Maya long count calendar record, plus the ancient Vedas account, both of which lead to a final age of human consciousness evolution and a golden age that awaited humanity in the end times. When I started to write the book in the spring of 2022, I wanted to explore the details of how the ancient Maya knew about the precession of the equinoxes and alignment to the center of the galaxy at such an early stage, when we as modern humans only discovered that there was a center to the galaxy in 1920 CE. I posited that the Maya must have had extraterrestrial help, but could not find any credible evidence of such a visitation. I continued to search, and eventually the universe threw a bone when a dear friend gave me a copy of Elena Denan's book, A Gift from the Stars. I did not actually have time to read it, as my reading regime already had 8 books to go through that month. Early one morning I was in meditation when a figure of an extraterrestrial popped into my mind. It was quite distinctive, and I knew it had to be something significant. Went to my office and drew the image I'd seen on a piece of paper, set it aside for a later time. During the same day, however, it occurred to me that Elena's book sat on my shelf and might contain the very image I had seen in my vision. Encouraged that this might be the case, I quickly went through the pages, glancing at all the extraterrestrial life forms Elena had so deftly illustrated, and on page 93 of her book, I found it. It was seen at a slightly different angle, but the resemblance to my image was unmistakable. Shape of the head and the clothing in her sketch matched those of my drawing with unprecedented accuracy. With great excitement, I read the description she had for the race called the Rame, also known as the Narcols, who came from the Auriga constellation. The next few lines, however, explanation had my heart leaping for joy. The Rame were tasked with the mission of teaching the ancient Mayans about cosmology. This very snippet of information was what I'd been looking for in order to complete my research. I wrote Elena to tell her of my experience. She was very encouraging and consented to me including the experience in my book. Incidentally, when I wrote the book, I did it in a collaboration with my higher self, and I explained how I fostered this most coveted of relationships and have used it many times to this day. When I asked my higher self if it had a specific handle, I was given the name Vincent, a most appropriate name actually, because it's my middle name. At the time of writing, I felt strongly that my name should not be listed as the author, and so authorship was ascribed to Vincent, and I chose to remain anonymous as the co-author. I have since changed my mind about the anonymity, but I've left the authorship of the book unchanged. Before we close off today, I want to bring some insight on the matter of the gamble that the Galactic Federation of Worlds has taken to free humanity from enslavement to the deep state and ultimately the Sychar and Orion empires. In Delana Danan's book, The Cedars, she alludes to the intervention of the biblical god Enki, one of the extraterrestrial gods described in the Old Testament as the Elohim. It is stated that Enki has returned to help the vibrational increase of the human race by enabling of the original 12-strand DNA that the first humans possessed. This is to be a gift to mankind and administered by the Galactic Federation of Worlds when humanity approaches the fifth density timeline of the new Earth. The Galactic Federation of Worlds, it appears, has a plan to enter the current Earth plane and rescue all humans for the expedition to their final status of vibration. The 12-strand DNA would be administered to these incumbent souls on board the many GFW craft that would suddenly appear in many parts of the world. I have an insight here that might make some sense of this phenomenon. I believe that this intervention by the GFW craft that would physically appear in our earthly skies on a particular day is the backup plan should the gamble on the one caveat that the GFW is making for our rescue end in failure. In other words, this planned appearance may not happen at all if the Sychar and Orion Federation decide that reclaiming the Earth is not a viable option for them. But should it all go south, and these evil empires decide that they are going to outmuscle the Galactic Federation of Worlds, then we will see the GFW craft suddenly appear in the skies of Gaia. There's so much more to this pre-planned option, more than the time I have available for this video. However, I posited that the steps for harvest and ascension and the adoption of the new Earth attributes into our conscious minds for the co-creation of the new Earth reality will expedite the upgrade of human DNA to the required 12-strand configuration. I'm sure you'll agree with me that this will be the less traumatic option for humanity. However, I'm thankful to the members of the Galactic Federation of Worlds who have such a strong commitment toward the safety of their human brothers and sisters, so much so that they are prepared to go the extra mile in order to save us. Well, that's all we have time for on this expose of Spiritually Conscious Soul 101. But before we close, please remember to hit the subscribe button below. And should you like to make a comment, you can go to the website listed and use the comment section where there is a fillable form that can be utilized for that purpose. Thank you for watching my channel. And be sure to catch up with the latest material on the next viewing of Spiritually Conscious Soul 101.